Hello. I'm Britton Ashford, Executive Director of the MPA. Thank you for joining us this afternoon if you are based in New York, or this morning if you are on the West Coast, or perhaps this evening if you are somewhere across the pond. Thank you for joining us. And what we're doing at this point is not so much of an unusual presentation, but I think we can say that when the MPA opted to pause the collection of scores last March, we weren't quite certain how long the pandemic was going to extend, and like the rest of the world, sort of figuring out things piece by piece. With that said, our hope is to get back on track with collecting scores in person next year, which will be exciting when we can all meet together for our annual meeting in June. And it feels like a long way away to say 2022, but I'm pretty sure it's going to come faster than we know it. With that, you may have noticed that applications have already gone out for our current cycle to get us back on track. The deadline for submission for our current year is May 14th. Do keep in mind, these are the winning scores for the 2019-2020 season. With that, I just want to say that we had 97 submissions by 23 publishers, which is really exciting because the percentage of publications we received was not actually lower than usual by a percentage. Meaning that normally we allow publishers to submit 6 scores, but this year we opted to allow publishers to submit only 5. In this way, we were hoping to sort of ease the burden of the digital screen staring for our judges. With that, it's also exciting that we had some new publishers submitting for the first time, which is always a treat for us to see what folks are making out there. Without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Robert Thompson of Wise Music, MPA Board President.
Thank you, Britton. As president of the MPA, I'd like to thank all of you for being here today virtually to celebrate the work of US-based music editors and engravers, and by extension, all American publishers present and past who have played a vital role in publishing the canon of American music for the past 250 years. The Paul Revere Awards for Graphic Excellence were established in 1964 in honor of the 200th anniversary of the first music engraving in America by the silversmith and engraver and horse rider Paul Revere. Yes, that Paul Revere, American revolutionary hero, made famous in that Henry Wadsworth Longfellow eponymous poem we all learned as children. The people we honor today through these awards are the editors, engravers, and editorial and production staff whose work is truly an art form in and of itself in pursuit of graphic excellence in music publishing. Think about this. The fact that music is performed in concert halls, in theaters, in schools, in places of worship is because of the exceptional work that these editors, engravers, and proofreaders have undertaken for over 250 years now in the USA. Think about this too. Without them, music stands would be empty. So I'd like to take a minute and say, on behalf of all of us on the board of the MPA, thank you to all of you involved in editorial and production, represented here today, for the work that you do, and also for the level of craft and excellence with which you pursue it. We are all in your debt and grateful. Next, I'd like to introduce the presenter of this year's awards, Frank J. Oteri. Many of you know Frank. Frank is an esteemed composer in his own right, a music journalist, a lecturer, and new music advocate. He's been a longtime editor, founder of New Music Box, publication of New Music USA, since its inception in 1999. He's also the recipient of ASCAP's Victor Herbert Award for, and I quote, his distinguished service to American music as composer, journalist, editor, broadcaster, impresario, and advocate. He's also a recipient of the ASCAP prestigious Deems Taylor Award, the Composer's Now Visionary Award in 2018, and most recently was elected vice president of the International Society for Contemporary Music. So it's an honor for all of us here at the MPA to welcome back Frank Oteri to present this year's Paul Revere Awards. Frank?
Hi, everybody. It's a shame not to be able to be doing this in person, but we found new ways to do things virtually, and it's been a very exciting process figuring out how to translate the various things that we've been doing corporeally into this new virtual realm. And as Britton mentioned, this year we had a different way of doing the Revere Awards. Everything was submitted digitally, and all of the judges met digitally to determine all of this. One thing that's been a boon to all of this, that's been exciting, is it's allowed us to look a little bit further afield for our judges. And, you know, MPA always has a very small budget for this sort of thing, and to get people to meet in the same room, to get them to travel, is difficult. And this year, I'm happy to say we have 3 judges who have never served as judges before, only 1 returning, and the 1 returning is the 1 person based in New York City. All of the other new judges are from other parts of the country. So that's a very, very exciting development. And in fact, this is probably a good opportunity to introduce you to those judges. So we can, yeah, there we go. Our note-setting judges. First, Juping Song, who is the founder and artistic director of the Naked Eye Ensemble, which is a new music group based in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, that's dedicated to commissioning and performing works by living composers. And they've been, during the pandemic time, having a very exciting series of commissioning solo works for their various members, since they can't play together. And Juping Song has been traveling back and forth from her native Taiwan to Pennsylvania. So she's been able to be with us in various guises over Skype, which has been, not Skype, via Zoom. Sorry for that. There's a little pre-21st century remembrance there of Skype. Our other judge for note setting is Ella Fredrickson, who many of you may know. She's been the principal librarian of the Florida Orchestra since 1995 and served as the personal librarian for the conductor Marin Alsop between the years 1990 and 2016, overseeing performance materials for all of Marin's guest appearances, including her work as artistic director of the Cabrillo Festival, which is how I first got to know Ella. Prior to that, she was the founding librarian of the New World Symphony and has served as a past president of MOLA, the Major Orchestra Librarians Association. She also plays the theremin in several orchestra performances all over the country. And as you see from her photo, she loves being surrounded by scores. We did not disappoint this year. Our other judges are design judges, a new judge serving for the first time also, Emmanuel Wisdom, who is a multidisciplinary graphic and hand lettering director based in Philadelphia. He specializes in brand identity, hand lettering, and typography. In addition to his design services, he also offers hand lettering workshops and one-on-one mentorship for anyone interested in sharpening their lettering skills. And finally, our 1 returning judge, who looks very different from all of the other judges, Nim Ben Ruben, who's returning for a 5th year of judging. Nim is a graphic and lettering artist, video producer, cardboard enthusiast, as you can see, and a design ethicist living in Brooklyn. So the one person who's relatively corporeally close to us, although at this point, everybody, whether you live around the corner or you live halfway around the world, is far away, right? Anyway, without further ado, I'd like to get to the various award categories, because that's what everybody is here to find out. Who won what? Our first award category is in the area of choral music note setting. And for that category, we have 3 prize-winning works. The 3rd prize goes to A Triumphant Alleluia, arranged by Joseph M. Martin, published by Hope Publishing Company. The note setter was Judy Nishimura, and the production coordinator, John Shorney. 2nd prize winner, a work by Stacy Garup entitled God's World, published by the Theodore Presser Company. The note setter, Zachary Fick Cambria, and the production coordinator was Daniel Dorff. And finally, 1st prize goes to Essential 2-Part Anthems, Volume 4, a collection of music by various composers, also published by the Hope Publishing Company, also with note setting by Judy Nishimura and production coordination by John Shorney. I want to point out before we go further that there has been so much excellence in all of these materials we've seen that sometimes the difference between a 1st prize winner and a 2nd prize winner is like a half of a point. So these are really all excellent, excellent engraving work, all of these scores. We should move on to keyboard note setting. Our third prize winner in keyboard music note setting is for a new edition of George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue, arranged for two pianos, four hands, the two piano four-hand version. This is a Hal Leonard publication, and the note setters are Robert Tornan and Sylvie Tornan, and the production coordinator was Brendan Fox. The second prize winner, which I was really excited about, having read a biography of him a number of years ago, was a collection of solo piano works by the really, really crazy composer pianist Erwin Nirichazi. Fascinating, fascinating composer, fascinating life. This is published by Carl Fisher Music. The note setter was Zachary Fink Cambria, and the production coordinator, Lauren Taylor. And finally, our first prize goes to the Etudes Project, Volume 1, Iceberg, a collection of various composers from the Iceberg Composer Collective. This is a publication of a new publisher submitting to us this year, New Music Shelf. And it is a company run by Dennis Chebensky, who some of you may remember from a panel on, I believe, the last corporeal MPA that we had together. He was on a panel and said some very interesting things. He was the note setter and also the production coordinator. And I should point out, because I know the backstory to this, this was done, he learned Dorico and typeset all of these things in Dorico. And it was a project for him to learn that new program and to do these projects using that software. Next category, guitar music note setting. We have only one prize winner in this category this year, but it's for a spectacular collection of the music of blues legend Big Bill Broonzy. It's the Big Bill Broonzy Guitar Collection. It's another Hal Leonard publication. The note setter was Charlie Jarvis, and the production coordinator was Jim Schustet. Next, piano vocal note setting. I have to say, this is an extraordinarily competitive category. There are lots of submissions in this category. There was a lot of stuff to look through, a lot of really excellent work. We awarded many of them. There were many excellent works that did not make it, maybe because of being off by a half a point or a point, but a lot of really great work being done in this category. So we've honored this category with 2 second prizes and 2 first prizes. The tie for the second prize, the first of the winners for second prize, is the Charles Ives 12 Easy Songs for Low Voice and Piano, published by Peer Music Classical, the note setter Marina Voishkin, and the production coordinator Karen Heyman. The other second prize for piano vocal note setting goes to Excelsior Music Publishing for Accessible Solo Repertoire for Voice, Medium to Low Voice, a collection of music by various composers. You see the names of all of the arrangers on the cover that's shown on the screen to the side. But the note setter for that project was Taylor Arcari, and the production coordinators were Jamie Ray and Tyler Arcari. The first of the first prize winners is Scrapbooks, a micro operetta for 2 sopranos and piano, composed by Liana Kershoff, published by E.C. Schirmer Music Company. The note setter, Stanley M. Hoffman, and the production coordinator, Kristen Schade. And finally, the other first prize winner is a work by Kenneth Frizzell for soprano, cello, or viola, and piano, titled Through the Window, published by Subito Music Corporation. The note setter was David Murray, who was also the production coordinator. And now we move on to full scores note setting. There are 2 winners in this category this year, both of really, really extraordinary 20th century American compositions. It's great to see these masterpieces being available for sale in these editions. The second prize goes to the Piano Concerto of John Curigliano, published by G. Shermer. Music sales, Wise Music Classical. Note setters are Dejan Bajnar and David Featheroff, and the production coordinator for that project was Peter Stanley Martin. And first prize goes to an edition of a wonderful, fascinating score with very unusual instrumentation titled Luiman by the late Elliott Carter, who's left us a few years ago. Hard to believe he's no longer around after nearly being with us for almost 104 years, but his music still lives with us, as we see from this new edition. And that work, the note setter was Tom Broadhead, and the production coordinator was Kyle Tiemann Strauss. Now we move on to solos with accompaniment, another very competitive category. And our third prize winner is the Sonata for Violoncello and Piano by John Musto, published by Pure Music Classical. Note setter, again, Marina Voishkin, picking up her second award of the afternoon, and production coordinator Karen Heyman, picking up her second award. The second prize winner, again, second award going to New Music Shelf for the Anthology of New Music for Alto Saxophone, Volume 1. Once again, note setter and production coordinator Dennis Tabensky of New Music Shelf. And finally, the first prize winner in this category goes to movie themes for classical players, arrangements for violin and piano of famous movie themes. It's a Hal Leonard publication. The note setter was Kim Brand, and the production coordinator Joshua Harman. Moving along to solos without accompaniment. Again, a very competitive category. And for this category, the judges decided to give a total of 5 awards. So there are 2 third prize winners, 2 second prize winners, and a first prize winner. The 2 third prize winners, the first of them is the Sonatina for Solo Harp by Alberto Ginastera, published by Boozy and Hawks. Note setter, David Nadal, and the production coordinator, Maggie Heskin. Tying for third prize, 5 miniatures for 2 cellos by Alan Shawn. Galaxy Music Corporation, the note setter, Kevin Uppercue, and the production coordinator, Kristen Shada. Second prize, tied for second prize, the first of the 2, Song for Flint by Vijay Iyer. Note setter, Juan Pablo Contreras, and this is published by Shop Music Corporation, European American Music, and the production coordinator was Scott Walschlager. The other second prize award goes to Phoenix Rising, another composition by Stacey Garrop, winning an award today. That's a Theodore Presser Company publication. The note setter, again, Zachary Thick Cambria, who's won another award today here, and production coordinator, again, Daniel Dorff. And finally, the first prize winner in this category, the Suite for Solo Violin by John Harbison, which is a collection of 5 pieces that John Harbison wrote on various occasions and collected together in a suite. It's really nice to see these pieces together in a commercially available publication. The note setter for that is David Featheroff, and the production coordinator, again, Peter Stanley Martin. So another award to those folks. Congratulations to all of the award winners thus far. We still have a few more categories to go. Chamber Ensemble note setting. Again, here the judges did not give a third prize, but there are 2 second prizes and 2 first prizes. So 4 awards in this category. For second prize, the first of the second prize winners is a string trio by the late Lee Hyla. Once again, it's so wonderful to see that his music is still alive with us and in new editions, and that can reach new generations. Lee Hyla's fascinating music. The string trio published by Carl Fisher Music, note setter Nicholas Hopkins, and the production coordinator for that, Lauren Taylor. Tied for second prize, the Serenata in Mi Bemole Maggiore. There goes my Italian for the day. BI 428, scored for 2 violins, 2 violas, and cello. An Urtext edition, composition by Alessandro Rolla. And the note setter for that was Kenneth Martinson, production coordinator Kathy Perigo, and this is published by Gems Music Publications Limited. And I love that wonderful large gem on the score. Tied for first place, Lost Anthems for viola and piano, composed by Scott Walschlager. And this is a very, very unusual thing. The composer, Scott Walschlager, was also the note setter of this piece and also the production coordinator. Isn't it wonderful when composers are able to do this work as well? Save other people hours and hours of time. Anybody who's looked at the Beethoven manuscripts knows what hard work it is to do note setting, but Scott is able to compose and do his own note setting. This is published by Schott Music Corporation, not Scott Music Corporation. Schott Music Corporation, European American Music, tied for first place. And finally, the other tied work for first place in this category of chamber ensemble note setting is Pierre Jalbert's Ephemeral Objects for cello and piano, again published by Schott Music Corporation, European American Music, and the note setter for that was Kenneth Godel, and the production coordinator, once again, Scott Walschlager. And now our final note setting category of the day, collated music note setting. This is usually works, sets of parts for band and large ensembles, distinguished from orchestral scores where people are just adjudicating the score. Here they're adjudicating the set of materials. And the third prize winner in this category is the setting of a work, the note setting of work by composer Eric Morales called American Dance Episode, published by the FJH Music Company. The note setter is Tempo Press, the production coordinator Morgan Denny. Second prize winner in this category is a fascinating piece by Edward Knight called American Wonders, Party Like It's 1876. Great title. Published by the Subito Music Corporation, the note setter and the production coordinator for this project, David Murray. And finally, first prize, the last of the note setting awards today, goes to the Funeral March for Wind Band, a rare work for wind band by the great American composer Samuel Barber, and in an arrangement, a realization by Peter Stanley Martin, who was also the note setter and the production coordinator. And this is published by G. Schirmer, which is, and distributed by Hal Leonard G. Schirmer Music Sales, which is the Wise Music Classical. And now for cover design. We have 4 awards in this category. There's a tied for second prize, but first we'll tell you the third prize winner is Famous Orchestral Solos Now for Tuba. Kendor Music Incorporated. The production coordinator was Melinda Varga. And these are transcriptions by Mike Forbes. Tied for second prize, Flexible Favorites for Winds, Christmas, which is a collection of easy solos, duets, and trios for winds, published by the Wingard Jones Publications, production coordinator Joseph Snyder. And competing with themselves for second prize, also another Wingard Jones publication, Flexible Favorites for Strings, Christmas, also production coordinator Joseph Snyder. Finally, first prize winner, Express Abstractionism, a composition for orchestra by Sean Shepard, published by Boozy and Hawkes, Hendon Music, which is the BMI affiliate of Boozy and Hawkes. And yes, that is such a wonderful painting on there. Express Abstractionism, first prize for cover design. Finally, book design, 3 award winners. The third prize winner in this category is Women at the Piano, solo works by female composers of the 19th century, edited by Nicholas Hopkins. This is a Carl Fisher publication, and the production coordinator for that was Christiana Lehman. And hopefully this is a publication that's going to get a lot of traction now that more organizations are starting to wake up to the fact that women are writing music, not only now, but have written music for centuries. And hopefully some of this repertoire can enter the repertoire and be played as much as some of the other composers who get played all the time are played. Second prize winner, Violin Concerto in D major by Eric Wolfgang Korngold, a wonderful composition of the 20th century, an urtext edition published by Kaiser Southern Music. The production coordinator for this project was Joe Terhake, and you see this wonderful photo on this cover, this historic photo that makes you want to grab your violin and start playing this music. Finally, the first prize and the last prize we are giving out today in this year's 2020-2021 Paul Revere Awards of the Music Publishers Association goes to Hal Leonard for this really, really beautiful and remarkable collection of the complete scores of Jimi Hendrix. And this has been a long time coming. You know, Jimi Hendrix has left this world now. It's been 50 years. And finally, there's a really authoritative edition of all of his music. This is published by Hal Leonard, and the production coordinator for this project, Jim Schustet. It has been such a joy and honor to see all of these scores and to look through them and to be able to acknowledge some of them through this awards process. And it's exciting, and it makes me hopeful for the future that we are continuing and that we're going to continue to put music out there in the world, and people are going to continue to play it, and life will go on.
Thank you so much, Frank. Thank you for joining us. Both, I want to thank Frank and Robert for being very flexible and how we've managed to put all this together. As Frank said earlier, it was a little bit of a process figuring out how exactly we do this. So I also want to thank our membership, everyone who submitted, for also being flexible with us as we figured this out. Again, you have been watching the 2019-2020 awards that we would have normally awarded last June. And we look forward to getting back on track with collecting. We are currently collecting for the 2020-2021 season, and those applications are due May 14th. We will plan on having a digital presentation of our annual meeting in June, so look forward to receiving more information about that via email, which, speaking of email, if you missed part of the presentation or you simply want to refer back to the winners, those are going to go out via email. If you're not on our email list, you can always shoot me an email to get on that list, but otherwise they'll also be posted on our website at mpa.org. Again, I want to thank Frank for being so gracious in this process, and Robert as well for also believing that we have the ability to do this, and to all of you for submitting for this year's awards. It's been a process, and we look forward to seeing you in person at some point in 2021 or 2022. I have a feeling there will be some parties. With that, thank you again, and have a wonderful afternoon. We look forward to seeing you in person soon.